Hi, good morning, all. My voice is audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you. So, welcome to the Pl-sql and SQL session here. So, from today, we'll start with our subject, right? So, I hope Sir has been created one WhatsApp group. So, anybody's name or number has been missed out. So, you can ping me after this class is completed in this chat box itself. So, I can add those students in the WhatsApp group, right? So we are going to start with our SQL and Pl-sql. So maximum it takes to complete minimum 2 months over here. So if I'm not going to give any leave, that means if you don't want any leave during Sundays, we can complete our SQL and Pl-sql earlier. Or if you need leave during the weekends, it takes little time to complete, right? So we'll start with our subject here. So first, today's class it is introduction only. Introduction means what do you mean by this SQL and how it will work, right? So first we'll go with the data over here. So what do you mean by data? So have you come across this data? In general, I'm asking, what do you mean by data? Any idea about the data? So data is a raw collection of the information, right? Data is a raw collection of information. Data can be in the form of text, abbreviation, or the figures, or the images, or number of graphs, etc. Right? Data is information only. It's a raw collection of the information over here. So under this data can be divided into two types. One is structured data, another one is unstructured data over here. So what do you mean by this structured data? So it is made up of with the letters over here, like letters, digits, and the special symbols over here. So those are called as the structured data over here. So when coming into the unstructured data, so anything which is related to the multimedia objects, those are called as the unstructured data. So any examples of the unstructured data? Can you give any examples of unstructured data here? It is made up of the multimedia objects, right? So any examples of multimedia objects? Yes? We can tell examples like it is audio or images. So those are the multimedia objects, right? Not only audio images, we can also tell like it's animations over here or the documents. So those are the multimedia objects here. So for the structured data, any examples for the structured data over here? So data is a collection of it is a raw collection of the information or the facts about the people, place, or things, anything it can be. So under the data only, it is a two types. It is a structured and unstructured. So structured data where it is made up of the letters, digits, or special characters over here, or special letters here. So any examples? So examples we can tell like a name, like it's a Dia over here, or the number 30. So those are the structured data. Unstructured data, anything which is made up of the multimedia objects like audio, images, animations, or it is a documents, etc. over here. Okay. So coming into the database. So now what is the database? Any idea about the database? Anybody having the idea about the database? In general only we are asking. Any idea about the database?
Storing the information, storing the data.
Management
It's an organized collection of data in an organized way.
Yes. So it is a collection of interrelated data which gives us a meaningful information at one particular location. Those are called as the database over here. So as you told, which is giving us a meaningful information over here. Database, it is a collection of interrelated data which gives us a meaningful information at one particular location. So those are called as the database here. So under the database, we are having some three advantages. So first advantages is that it gives the data security over here. So why it is going to give the data security here? So why it is giving the data security? Any idea about it? No idea about it. What is the data security over here? What is the data security meaning here? So when we are telling like it's advantage, like it's a data security here. it is protecting the data. It is protecting the data over here, and it is going to secure the data against unapproval access, and also it is going to preserve the data confidentially, so that it is the advantage. The first advantage is that it is the data security here. So the advantage for the database here. So next it is the data backup over here. So why we are telling like it's a data backup over here? So we are creating the process of creating a copy of the data on your own system. So it is taking the backup over here. So next advantage is the huge amount of data. So where it is storing the huge amount of data into the memory. So these are the three advantages when we're using this database over here. So another information also about the database here. So database, as we told, it is a collection of the interrelated data over here. So under the database, it is also going to contain the records and fields over here. Okay, so rows are called as the records here, and columns are called as the fields here. So rows are fields will hold only a individual value. So what do you mean by field here? So in a table, we'll be having the row and the column over there, right? So we will not tell the row like a row. We'll call it as the records over here. So rows are called as records and columns are called as fields here. So field holds the individual values, whereas that is only columns. Columns hold the individual value over here. Record is a collection of the field values here. So field is nothing but it is a column, and record is nothing but it is a rows over here, right? So under the database, so these are general information about the database over here. So next we are having the another type of database over here. So we are having two types of database over here. So like it is a DBMS. So we are having one more, like it is a DBMS over here. So DBMS means it is the database management system here. So we didn't mention here. DBMS here. We are having a DBMS here. So it is the database management system here. So it is a software that is used to create and maintain the database. So DBMS full form, it is the database management system or software here. It is a software which is used to create and maintain the database here. So in this software, in this DBMS, in this software, it allows us to store, manipulate and retrieve the data of the database. So what do you mean by this word retrieve? Have you ever come across this word retrieve?
Getting the data.
Getting the data. Yes, retrieve means exactly, retrieve means it is opening the existing data. So as it all getting the data where already we are having the data, that data only we are getting, right? So retrieve here means opening the existing data over here. So manipulate. So what do you mean by this word manipulate?
Change.
Yes.
Changing from one type to another type.
Okay. Is it like modifying
Yes,
the
yes,
data?
modifying it.
Yeah, modifying the data. So in another words, we can use modify. So exactly it is manipulate means where we are inserting the records, deleting the records, updating the records, or modifying the data over here. So these are called as the manipulate. Manipulate means where we are inserting the records, deleting the records, updating or modifying here. So under this DBMS is the database management software here. Under this software, it is going to allow us to store, the manipulate and the retrieve data from the database. So retrieve means opening the existing data. Manipulate means where we are inserting, deleting, updating and modifying the data here. Okay. So these are the importance of DBMS. So coming into the RDBMS. So RDBMS is nothing but it is the relational database management system over here, or relational database management software here. So in this, we maintain database in the form of tables here. We are going to maintain the database in the form of tables over here. So mostly we'll be using this RDBMS, that is relational database management system or software here. So some of the examples of the RDBMS are the Oracle MySQL server over here, MySQL or MyAccess here. So next it is the IBM DB2. So these are the examples of RDBMS. So what do you mean by this RDBMS is that we are going to maintain the database in the form of table. Those are called as the RDBMS over here, right? So coming into the, we are having a next topic, like we are having it is a field over here. So just now I told, what do you mean by field here? So what do you mean by field here?
Column.
Yeah, field, it is the column over here in a table. So as I told, so why we are taking a column? We are going to work under the RDBMS only. That is the relational database management. So our database, it is in the form of tables over here. So table means it is going to contain the row and the column over here. So that we are taking the field. So field is nothing but in a table, each column is called as the field. So field holds a individual values here. So coming into the record. So record in a table, each row is called as the record here. The collection of related fields is called as the records here, right? So coming into the table. So these are for your information, what does this field mean? What does this record mean? What do you mean by this RDMS? So just to get our information, we are given this as the notes here, right? So next it is a table over here. So as I told, table is a collection of the rows and the column over here. So it can be called as the relation over here. So table can also be called as the relation over here. So here rows are called as row records and column are called as fields over here. Same thing. Field holds individual values, whereas record is a collection of the field values over here, right? So under this, we are having another heading like it is a metadata over here. So have you ever come across this word metadata?
Yes.
What do you mean by
Data.
metadata?
Data within the data.
Data, yes. Metadata, it is the data about the data over here. It is
Correct.
going to describe about the data. Metadata is nothing but it is the data about the data. So any examples of the metadata? Any examples we can give? Any examples? So examples, yes,
Cricket players.
cricket players.
Jersey
Okay.
jersey name, score, photos. So
Jesse.
photo, I pick name, resolution, format is a
Okay.
metadata.
You're taking it from the example for the cricket. Okay. So when we are coming into our SQL, into our data, any examples related to our subject? It is a data about data. It is going to describe about data. So anything related to the table.
Employee.
Regarding
department.
about the author or date modified or date dated, something like that,
Okay. But we can
related to our tables.
related to the tables. So related to the tables. So
I mean, related to the tables, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Date created or date modified in that
date
particular table,
modified, yes.
or file size in that particular table.
So yeah, we can mention. So where we are taking the example like field name, table name, data type, and the field size. So as you told also we can take the data. It's going to give us the information about the data only, right? Describes about the data. So that also we can take the examples, whatever you mentioned. So multiple examples we are having metadata. So I asked in the table. So you told like it's the author. It is a good only that example. It is correct only that example too, whatever you mentioned, right? So coming into the query. So what do you mean by this query here? So the query yesterday you would have, the day before yesterday you have observed. So what happens here? The query, through query only we are retrieving our data. Already we are having some tables in our database over here. So we want to retrieve, we want to fetch some records, we want to fetch some data. So where we are writing the query over here. So the information which we want from the table, which we need from the table, or we are going to request the data where we are going to write the query over here. So in SQL is nothing but it is a SQL over here. So in SQL, we will be writing queries to get the data, to get the information from the database over here. So those are called as the queries here, right? So coming into the components in Oracle database. So coming into the Oracle database. So first we'll go to the Oracle. So Oracle is a relational database management software here. So why we are telling like it is a relational database management software here? Why we are telling Oracle as a relational database management software here?
Yes, the data is stored in table
Table
format.
format, right? So where it is used to create and maintain the database over here. So that's our second point over here. So third point is that in this we maintain the database in the form of tables. So whenever it is the RDBMS, it is the database which is stored in the form of tables over here. So under Oracle, it allows us to store, manipulate and retrieve the data of the database here. So whatever this RDMS, this advantage, same advantage we are having in this Oracle also. So the latest version of this Oracle, it is the Oracle 19C over here. So C is nothing but it is related to the cloud here. Okay. So it is a product of the Oracle company. So under the Oracle, so we can tell like it's a tools of Oracle. So Oracle providing the two tools over here. So one tool, or we can also tell like it's a components over here. So where we are having like it is a SQL and Pl-sql over here. So under Oracle only, we are having these two tools over here. So that is only SQL and Pl-sql. So we can also call it as the structured query language over here or SQL here, right? So SQL stands for the structured query
Hello?
language here.
Ah,
Yes.
Karthik.
So it is a query language used to write the queries here, right? You would have
Ah.
observed. So where we are going to write the queries. So query is a request that is sent to the database server here. So query is used to communicate with the database over here. So in SQL, we are telling like SQL is a non-procedural language over here. So SQL is a non-procedural language here. So why we are telling SQL is a non-procedural language is that we will not write a set of statements. So here we will not write a 3 statements, 4 statement or a set of statements over here. So where we write only individual statements, a single line query only we will write here. So that's why it is still like we are mentioning like it is the non-procedural language over here. So SQL is always a non-procedural language. Why? Because here we will not write the set of statements here, right? So in SQL also, it provides the operators to use the following operations like operator, between operator, and operator. So through operators, we will use the operators and we will retrieve our data over here. So using SQL, using our queries. Okay, so it also provides built-in functions to perform the specific actions over here. So it does not provide the control structure. So why it does not provide the control structure is there? We cannot write the set of statements in SQL. We have no need to control the flow of execution. So here, why we are mentioning like it is a control structures over here. So control structure are those where we use this looping statements. Okay, so loop where we looping statements where we are having this 3 types of loop like simple loop, for loop, while loop over there. So where we are going to control the flow of execution, but whereas in SQL, we cannot provide this control structure. We can use in Pl-sql. In Pl-sql, we can use the control language over here. So where we use the looping statements there. Whereas in SQL, we will not use the control structures here, right? So these are the importance of SQL over here. So SQL or SQL, you can able to pronounce it. So it is a structured query language over here. So under the structured query language, we are having the 5 important components of SQL here. So it is going to contain the 5 subclasses also we can mention. So we are having the 5 types. Like first one, it is the DRL, that is the data retrieval language over here. Second is the DDL over here. So it is a data definition language. So under the data definition language, we are having the 5 types of comments here, like it is a create, alter, rename, drop, truncate. So why we are using the create here? So I want to create a table. So where we use this command, create table, table name. So where we are using this command, DDL comment over here. So alter. So I want to rename the particular column name. So where we are using this alter comment here. So rename you are using directly. So where I want to rename the particular table. Not only table, database objects, you can able to observe in upcoming classes, what are the database objects here, right? So not only table, we are having like it's a view or a sequence or a synonym, anything it can be. Those are called as the database of anything we are creating. Those are called as the database objects here. So where we can use this DDL comments here, right? So next drop command, where I'm dropping the database object. So dropping the table. Once you drop the table, the entire table will be dropped and it will be go and stored in the recycle bin. Okay. So after that, we are having another comment like a flashback over here. So when we are using this flashback comment, again, we can retrieve the same table, whatever we have been dropped earlier. So using that flashback, that is also another DDL comment only. That is also DDL comment here. So next we are using this truncate command. So when we are using this truncate command, what happens? It will not all the records in a particular table. So now we are going to deal with the table only, right? So in a table, it will delete all the records. You can see only the headings over here. So when we are using this truncate command over here. So whenever you're using this DDL comments, the DDL comments are auto committed. That means we don't want to save each and every time whenever you're using these comments. For example, you're creating a table. Okay. So for a better example, you will be working in the MS document. Okay. So you are making some reports. Okay. In that case, we are using this control S. Automatically what happens? That particular whatever changes you have made, it will be saved into that particular document over there, right? So same way here, whenever we are using this DDL comments, you don't want to save it. These comments are auto committed. So that means it will be automatically it will be saved into your database objects over here when we are using this DDL comments. These are the DDL comments. So coming into the next comment, that is the DML. So that is the data manipulation language here. So in some interviews for the first round, they'll be asking you what are the components of SQL. So you're going to explain the entire components, 5 types of components over here, or they are going to tell you what is the full form of DML. So it's nothing but the data manipulation language over here. So under the data manipulation language, what are the commands? So it is the insert, update command, delete command, and merge command. So these 4 comments over here, right? So it is not auto committed. We should use the commit keyword. So in SQL, we don't have anything like a save. Instead of save only, we are using this commit over here. Okay. So whenever we want to insert the records into the table, after inserting the records into a table, you are going to use this commit keyword. So that means after entering the particular records, it will be permanently saved into your database objects. Not only insert, after updating the records, after deleting the records, after merging, you're going to use this commit over here. These 4 comments are it is not auto committed. Only DDL comments are auto committed. It will be automatically saved into your database. So whereas this DML, we should enter manually. We should use this commit command over there, right? So next we are having this TCL command. So here it is nothing but the transaction control language over here. So as I told, under transaction control language, we are having this 3 types of commands like commit, rollback, and save pointer. So once you are giving commit, we are to replace the save only, we are using this commit command over here. This is the keyword commit. Okay. So rollback. So once you are not commit anything. So for example, you are added some rows into the table over there. Okay. You're done your DML operation over here. Not only inserting the record, you are deleting some records over there. Okay. Already you are having some 5 records. You are deleting your 2 records. So based upon the syntax you have entered, then what happens? You're given this rollback over there. So automatically what happens here? You're given rollback means it will cancel your previous operations. So what is our previous operation? Delete is our previous operations over here, right? So in that case, it will not delete any record from the table when we are using this rollback after delete. In case after delete, you are given this commit command, and after commit, if you're going to give rollback, that means already after this DML operation delete, it has been saved into your database over there. So you cannot make any changes. After that, if you're going to give rollback also, it will not cancel this previous operation over there. Okay. So this is the rollback command. So next we are having the save pointer. So for each and every row, we will create a temporary save pointer. Save point 1 for a particular row, again save point 2. Okay, like a temporary, it will not be saved into your database anywhere. Okay, so this command will be using under TCL, that is a transaction control language. So next we are having the data control language over here. So under the data control language, we are having 2 commands, like it is a grant and revoke. So whoever is having the grant, that is means only a particular user. So whoever is having the privileges, for example, your higher official will be granting the particular only for a particular user who can only do the DML operation like insert and update, merge, but he don't have any privilege to delete. He cannot delete any records from the table. So where they are granting the permission. So where we are using this data control language like grant. So revoke, where we are taking back the permission. So for a particular user where we gave the permission like you can insert the record, you can update the record, you can merge the record. So I want to cancel those privileges. So where we are using this revoke. So revoke is taking back the permissions over here, right? So any doubts in this up to this? Anyone, you couldn't understand anything? So just we'll be learning about it individually now. These are the components. I just gave the interaction, how we are going to use these components over here, right? It's understandable, right? So anywhere, any doubts here?
No.
It is clear, right? So we'll go to the table. So as we are into this RDMS, where we are going to store the database in the forms of tables only, right? So where we are going to most of the cases we will be dealing with only the tables over here. So that table, how we should create. So we are having some rules here. So while creating a table, okay. So we are having some points to remember here. So table should not start with numbers, first of all. Whenever you're creating a table, the table should not start with numbers over here. Second point is that table name must begin with a letter. Like it can be a capital letter, or it can be an uppercase or a lowercase, or we can use the numbers 0 to 9 numbers we can use, or we can use these special characters over here. Can contain underscores and numbers here. So underscores also it will accept while creating a table, and numbers also it will accept, right? So maximum length should be up to 30 characters. So your name length, it should be maximum 30 characters over here. So we can use, as I told, we can use the uppercase and the lowercase over here. So these are the points to remember whenever we are going to create a table. Okay. So here we are having some examples over here. So some examples like EMP, or we have mentioned capital EMP or lowercase EMP. So whether this is valid or invalid, creating a table. While creating a table, this is valid or invalid?
Valid.
It is valid. Yes, it is valid here. Second one. So whenever you're creating a table, it should not start with the numbers over here. So that means it is
Invalid.
invalid. It's coming into the EMP. So where you were mentioned like EMP underscore details. So as I told, underscores, it will accept. So yes, it will accept. So next, so where we are using the space in between. So when you're using the space in between, what happens in that case here? It will not
Invalid.
accept. It will not accept. It is invalid. A blank space in between, it will not accept. So why we are telling, you can able to observe once I'll open our SQL developer over there, right? So next, we are having like another one, like it is the EMP hyphen details here. So whenever you're creating a table also, it should not contain the hyphen also. This is also not valid. So next, it should not contain the Oracle reserved keyword. For example, you cannot use it like update, create table name like update or delete or merge. Oracle's reserved keywords. So where we are having multiple keywords, Oracle reserved keywords, right? Some examples only. So under this, you cannot use this delete. So it is invalid over here. So it is a SQL server reserved keyword over here. It's a SQL reserved keyword. So that means you cannot able to use that keyword while creating the table here, right? So we'll go to the SQL developer. Okay. So as we know, whenever we are using our, we are going to use the software like it's a SQL developer over here, right? So create table. So as we know, we are going to create a table like a 5 means it will not accept over here. So it is 5 EMP as select start from EMP. So I can able to see, so where I'm creating this particular table. So what is the rule? Now we saw only for this conditions over here, our rules here. So when we are using like creating a table with starting as a number over here, can able to see it will throw an error like it is an invalid table name. Okay, same way. Underscore, I'm creating with the underscore over here. Okay, where I'm mentioning like 5 and where I'm giving underscore over here, I'm creating a table. So what happens in that case? In that case also it throws an error like it is an invalid table name. Okay, same way I'm creating with A over here. So where I'm creating with hyphen here. So you can able to see those difference over here. So what happens here again, it shows as the missing or invalid option here. So those are not allowed here. Hyphen, it is not allowed. Same way space, while creating a table, if you're going to give the space also, it is not allowed here. Okay, it shows as a missing or invalid option here. Again, underscore. So now underscore it is allowed, right? So create table A underscore EMP as select star from our EMP table over here. So what happens here? Now we can able to see table A underscore EMP created. So whatever we mentioned here earlier. So this is related to this table naming. So while creating a table, what are the rules we should follow? So it should contain the uppercase and it can contain the lowercase over here. It is going to contain the underscores over here. But hyphen, it is not accepting. Same way space, it is not accepting. And Oracle reserved or SQL reserved keywords. Those are not allowed here while creating the tables over here. So just these are the rules whenever we are going to create a table. We are going to follow whenever we are going to create a table. Okay. So next we are having a next topic like it is a SQL data types over here. So we are going to the next topic here like it is a SQL data types over here. So what do you mean by this SQL data types here? So the data type, it is used to specify which type of data a column can hold here. It is going to tell how much memory should be allocated. So what do you mean by this data types over here? So you can able to see this particular table, right? So this is our, we are going to take it from our EMP table. Okay. So disk this EMP. So if you want to find the data type over here, control enter. So what happens here? Under our EMP table, we are having some 8 columns over here. So these are the data types. So for example, it is employee number. So what is the data type? The data type, these are called as the data type over here. So data type, it is used to specify which type of data column should contain here, right? And how much memory this particular column code should contain. So these are called as the